Hello and welcome along to the Barbecue Talk Show. My name is Ryan.
And my name's Charlie from Pickles Barbecue.
We have a fantastic guest coming up on tonight's show, Malcolm Reed from the How to BBQ Right podcast, YouTube channel, everywhere on social media, TikTok. He's Mr. Barbecue. I think we're really lucky to have him on. I'm so looking forward to having a chat with him. Before we get him up, we're going to have a word about our show supporters. The Rusty Barbecue Company can bring you an exclusive 10% discount on all of their products. Meta can provide a 15% discount on all of their products worldwide. And Glow Baltic, who we've teamed up with to bring you 10% off their quality birchwood charcoal. And also, do please rate and review our show across all of the podcast platforms. Leave comments, likes and shares everywhere to help the podcast grow. Obviously, we're all in this together. We want to see it moving in the right direction. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. We have discount codes available on our website, and I'll put some in the show notes. So do make the most of the offers we have to give you, because, you know, it's nice to save a bit of money sometimes. So as I said, we've got Malcolm on this week, and we will be having him on shortly. So, Charlie, how have you been?
Doing good. And don't forget, my sponsor is a Natural Light Nowadays Pineapple Lemonade Beer, as usual. They're put out by the Anheuser-Busch Company from St. Louis, Missouri, as I can read on the side of the can. And then this week I'm going with Rode microphones.
Ooh.
Because I really want a Rode Go, and they have no idea that they're sponsoring me either. None of them do.
Well, one day. They're in the right place. That's all I can say. Cometh the hour, cometh the day.
Otherwise, it's going just peachy fine. The weather today is fantastic. About like 75 degrees. Perfect barbecuing weather. Just in time for the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Well, every day's perfect barbecue weather, rain or shine, really. It all depends on how keen you are. To be fair, I must admit, I'm glad I've got a barbecue shelter. Otherwise, I'll be cold and wet. I remember doing it when I just had a fishing umbrella. So I was underneath that with my Weber going, and it all just blew over, and I went in and sulked, as you do. So, yeah, as I said, we've got Malcolm Reed in today. He'll be along in about 3 to 5, maybe 10 minutes or so. There we go. He's just popped in the green room, so that's really cool. Getting set up and ready, I can see. It's going to be fantastic to have him along. I hope he's got a few cold beers ready, because I've got some swanky Italian cider, which is quite cool. It's going to taste real good.
I have my mine costs about $17 for a 30-pack. It is very high end. It's I mean, we're talking, this is all the way from Missouri.
Missouri, that's cool. So I can see that Malcolm's hopefully looking ready. He's looking settled in. Hopefully he's got a cold beer ready to go. So I'd like to introduce this week's guest. He's Malcolm Reed again. Everybody knows him. He's basically all over YouTube, Instagram, here to talk about his rubs, sauces, and a lot of good stuff along the way. So we're going to call him up into the chat in a minute and get him going when he's ready. Hopefully that'll be in a couple of minutes, I think, because it looks like it's still setting up from what I can see.
No.
But,
yeah, Malcolm, you can find he's
definitely getting ready. I can see he's just cracked a beer open and laughing.
Yeah, he's got a good 500 some odd videos on YouTube. So he is kind of all over YouTube. That's pretty decent amount.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as you say, he's on TikTok and Instagram as well. So he is a social media empire unto himself.
Absolutely. So we will be calling Malcolm up when he's ready, and up he will come.
Yeah. Plus, he's also an award-winning barbecue competition guy. Hey, Malcolm.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic, man. Any Friday I can be here with a cold drink. I'm good.
Oh, you got the Miller Lite.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers to you, mate.
See, that's Miller Lite's my winter drink. This is my summer drink, and man, summer is disappearing quick.
I shot a turkey video this morning for an upcoming project we're doing, and you could see my breath. I loved it. I think it was in the 40s here in Mississippi, which that's a good, cool morning. It's warmed up today. We're up in the mid 70s now, but I love those early fall mornings where it's cool in the morning and then warms up a little bit and it cools back off. That's fat boy weather.
Yeah. I'm feeling that, mate. I'll tell you, it's really cold here now. It's just dropped down to 8 degrees Celsius. So, yeah, it's really cold. The wind was blowing and everything like that. I was talking to Charlie about it off air, and it was just like, first real winter's coming and hitting the UK today. It's not been nice at all. So, it's great to have you on. Thanks for joining us. I've been really looking forward to this for about a month or so. It's fantastic. I'm sure we're going to have a brilliant conversation about all sorts of barbecue stuff and perhaps the odd cocktail along the way, which should be quite cool. I'm really looking forward to that as well. So, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into cooking over fire and flames, that would be fantastic, mate.
Well, where I'm from, we grew up around a barbecue grill. I mean, every, family function or holiday, there's always somebody grilling. And it's just something that we did. I mean, I've always been, right behind my mom and dad. If my mom's in the kitchen cooking, me and my brother are in there. If my dad's outside grilling, I'm out there. And, we were raised going to the country on the weekends. Even though my mom and dad raised us in the city, they came from the country. So we always went back home. And that was where, they raised hogs and they slaughtered hogs in the winter. And, everybody had a smokehouse. And that's just how I grew up. So going to barbecue was kind of natural. I didn't really get into the competition side of it until I was older, probably late high school, early college. It was, like a lot like tailgating is why I liked it, because it was a group of guys. We all got together and we had some cold drinks and we started cooking barbecue, and it was more of a party for us than trying to win. And it wasn't until, a few years later, we messed up and, won some trophies. And then all of a sudden we decided we need to get serious. And that's kind of how, I got my passion for competitive barbecue. I love to cook and I love to, try out new recipes. And I've always been in cookbooks and trying different things out, not being afraid to try anything. So that helped me along the way. And it just helps me with what I do today, coming up with recipes for, trying to help other people cook in their backyard.
Well, I can honestly say you taught me how to cook barbecue from dot. I stumbled across you on YouTube and I was sort of like thinking, oh yeah, this sounds good. I got my little gas grill, and then I was like, wow, I can do it with charcoal. And then all of a sudden you was there cooking on your Weber and your drum, like back in the day, with your hand built one. And I was like, oh yeah, there's something to this. So thank you. First off, that was really cool.
Hey, I appreciate you checking it out. That's why I did it, man. My wife, I have to give her the credit. She came up with the idea to turn it into a website and then a newsletter and then the YouTube channel. It was not my vision. I just like talking barbecue. And so she would hear me talking to my buddies, hanging out with them. All of our conversations went to barbecue or to the grill or what we were cooking or what we could do better. And so then we got to share this stuff, There was nobody doing it back when I first started. I mean, you had some barbecue forums where people would ask questions and stuff, but video wasn't a thing. And then nobody was giving those secrets out. Barbecue has always been one of those things. It's like the sauce recipes held close in the family, the seasoning recipes held close in the family. And so I kind of flipped the script on it. I said, man, if I'm going to learn this, and I didn't know I didn't have any secrets or anything. I said, I'm just going to put an open book. I'm going to share what I'm learning, during my journey in cooking better barbecue and striving to be better. I'm just going to share it. And so that's how we came up with the idea to do it. And it's resonated. It's changed a lot too. There's a lot of people sharing now what they're doing. I mean, technology helped for one, but now it's not, you don't hear all the secrets as much. And I mean, the competition thing, everybody still got their own stuff where they don't give away all the secrets in competition barbecue. But as far as cooking better at home, helping somebody out, man, that's what barbecue's about. You know, we're doing this for the next generations and generations to come to keep this thing of cooking over fire going, and I love it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a very, very good point. Like I've heard on your podcast you've been getting your son down to do the CA competitions, and he's had pretty good success as well, cooking the steaks and things like that. So that's what you got to do. You got to bring the youngsters along and encourage them and sort of help them along their journey as well. You know, as well as everybody else starting out. But it's totally agree. It's a really good standpoint from where you're coming from, and yeah, long may it can continue, Malcolm. It's really cool.
Yeah, 100% true. And for those who don't know where you're from, can you tell us like where you're from and like a little bit about the area and what kind of barbecue comes from that area?
So geographically, when I say Memphis, most people know that. You know, we're in the South, but we're in kind of that Southwest Tennessee corner where the Mississippi River borders the state. And I actually live in Mississippi and grew up in Mississippi, but it's like a suburb of Memphis. We're just the state line separates us, but I could be downtown Memphis right on the river at the Peabody, you know, in 15 minutes. So if I say Memphis, people know where that is. And Memphis is one of the big 4 regions of barbecue in the United States. You've got the Carolina style, and you've got the Memphis style, you've got Kansas City style, and you've got Texas style. That's what most people think of. Our style of barbecue it really like started from Carolina style. People migrated from over there, and then, they started cooking hogs and stuff like that. But we kind of went to the whole pork shoulders. That's the Memphis thing. When you think of barbecue in Memphis, you think of whole pulled pork shoulder, and you think of dry ribs. We like our sauce. Memphis sauce is kind of a balanced tomato-based sauce. It has the sweet and tanginess together. So you get the vinegar, you get the tomato ketchup flavor, and you also get the brown sugar, but it all blends. There's not one that's like not super sweet, not super vinegary, good consistency. And that's what it is. We use a lot of dry seasoning in Memphis style. It's not just salt like the Carolina style, and it's not Texas style. They don't use a whole lot, just salt and pepper. Ours is more of a blend. Chili powder, paprika for some nice red color. You've got the brown sugar in there. Of course, you got salt, garlic, pepper, all the normal stuff. But you get those real pretty colors on your bark from the redness of those paprikas and chili powders and things like that in Memphis style barbecue. Mm-hmm. And that's what I learned to cook and grew up cooking. So I've always tinkered with bacon rubs and blending those spices together to come up with a seasoning. And then we got into competition barbecue. We were judged on the look of our meat. That was a big part of it. And we had to sit down, much like I'm sitting here talking to you guys. We had to explain to the judges what our process, what seasonings we used, and why our meat looks as good as it does, and what sauces we glaze over the top of it. So we knew that we had to have a good tasting seasoning because we wanted them to be able to taste it while I'm telling them all this, just the seasoning by itself. And so that kind of led me and my brother Waylon to make the barbecue rub. And that was the first product that I ever came out with, and never meant to sell it or anything like that. We were just using it in competitions. Because people started asking me, they knew I was making a fresh batch to bring to a contest if I would make a couple extra pounds or packages to give away. And I did, and it just got so big that I just started, making it and selling it a little bit online to supplement some income. And it's grown to where I'm selling it all over the world now.
Absolutely. Well, you certainly got some in the UK because I've got some here. So.
There you go.
Yeah, it's very, very popular rub over here. It's really, really delicious. The whole of your line, you can pretty much buy in the UK, so it's really good. Good stuff, good tasty stuff, really. So, as we're on the subject of your rub, so how do you go about figuring out? Because obviously you've got a big, substantial line of rubs and sauces. Well, certainly rubs and seasonings. You've got a good 15 in your pocket, haven't you? Plus the pickles and the jerky and other stuff you make. So how do you go about figuring out what direction you want to go in with your rubs and sorting out the taste? Is it a question of you're just trying it in your kitchen, or are you sort of like sitting down and actually working through it in a most of them
it takes forever to come up with one to go to the market. I mean, I started making the first one just because it was our competition blend, and then I decided I wanted to do like a soul seasoning, which is a seasoning that everybody has, kind of that all-purpose seasoning. I didn't have a good name for it, so we were fans of the Minnesota Vikings, and they had a player named Adrian Peterson there at the time running tailback, and everybody called him AP. And I said, well, you know what? This is an all-purpose season. I like AP, so I'll call this season AP rub. And that's where that one come by. It was just a blend of salt, pepper, and garlic, and that everybody has at home. And then, I started getting into a little bit spicier food, and I said I had the sweet rub because the barbecue rub it's kind of a, it's a balanced rub, but it lends to the sweet side just a little bit, And so I pulled some of that sugar out, and I wanted to make something spicy and added some more peppers and different things. And I come up with the hot barbecue rub. And then we got into steak cooking. And I said, man, I need to make a steak seasoning because I was using Montreal steak seasoning, but there's some different herbs and some different flavors in Montreal that gives it a unique flavor. And it's not necessarily my favorite. So instead of using straight Montreal, I said, I'm going to make a steak seasoning that looks, similar to a Montreal, but it's got the flavors that I like in it. And so that's how I come up with that. But most of them, I just sit down and trial and error, and I'll make them from scratch. And I don't buy special ingredients from, all different crazy sources. I go to Sam's or our local grocery store, and I pick up what I can, and I start blending and start cooking with them. It's one thing to make up seasoning and it tastes good when you put your finger in it, but you never know what it's going to do until you put it on meat and cook with it. And that's what I spend a lot of time doing. So
yeah, very true.
If I'm using some of my seasonings or sauces, I've cooked a lot with it. And then the hardest part is scalability, because just because I can mix it up in my kitchen doesn't mean that when I take it to my co-packer or my manufacturer, that when I give them my recipe and I tell them I need 1,000 pounds of it, it never fails that it doesn't scale out right. You can't just say, oh, we're going to use 4 parts of pepper in this one. And, it just doesn't, the math doesn't work for some reason with the way flavors blend and everything. So I spend a lot of time in R&D with the co-packer once I give them my recipe, and they have to make it, and we have to go back and make adjustments. And a lot of times that process takes, a year and a half to get one ready to go to sell, because I don't want to just put some junk out there. And that's why, it seems like I have a lot of products, but really I've only got, 5 rubs and 2 sauces.
And the pickles. Don't forget the pickles.
Yeah, the other ones are, the pickles and the hot sauce and the sausage season and things like that. I didn't want to put out a different barbecue. I didn't want to put out 15 different barbecue products. So I was saying I love to cook. And so a lot of the stuff that I was doing was backyard guys. And I was thinking, well, what am I using besides barbecue seasonings? And so I said, well, I use a lot of Cajun seasonings. I always use one called Tony's. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of that one, but it's pretty popular in the South, but it was real salty. And so I said, well, I'm going to come up with my own Cajun blend. And that's how I got King Crawl. And then I did I love going to the Mexican restaurant. That's like, we don't, in our town, we have probably, I don't know, maybe 10 restaurants, but 8 of them are Mexican restaurants. so we eat a lot of Mexican food here, believe it or not. And I learned to love the cuisine. I love the people. And so I decided I was going to make my version of a Mexican seasoning to do a lot of that stuff at home. And, so I just play and experiment. I love looking at other people's recipes and trying out stuff and tweaking stuff, making it to where I like it. And that's what if you watch my videos, I always say you don't have to use my seasonings. Take this technique and take this recipe and make it your own. Add something to the seasonings. If you buy them, make it to your palate. That's the one thing. We all have different tastes. So I can't tell you if something tastes good or not. It tastes good to me. But to you, you might want to tweak it.
Yeah, 100% true. I think that's what differentiates cooking versus following a recipe. Like if you're following a recipe, you're not cooking. Like you're not using your brain. You're not using your senses. You're not experimenting, and you're not trying things out. And one of my questions was, so you do a whole variety of rubs, like the jerk seasoning, for instance. There's barbecue all over the world, and people are taking up to American barbecue, but there's actually you can talk about Korean barbecue. You can talk about, barbecue in Africa. You can talk about barbecue all like India. As long as there's been fire and meat, there's been barbecue. Does that influence anything as to how you cook and how you approach your flavors?
Definitely. Especially that jerk rub's a good example. Me and my wife on our honeymoon, we went to Jamaica for the first time, and we just went to a resort. But when I went, I made sure I took some excursions where I could go out, and I got a driver, and it's like, look, man, I don't want this resort food. I want you to take me out, take me to a jerk shack. I want to try a real jerk chicken. I've had what they're serving on the resort. And that's where I was like, man, these guys are doing the same thing that we're doing. They're doing it in half barrels over pimento wood, but they're making a fresh marinade to put the chicken in. They're using seasoning. So I was like, man, I love this stuff. So when I first got back home, that was probably the first jerk recipe I ever did. I just, looked up how do you cook? How are they doing this jerk? So I brought a cookbook at the airport, an authentic Jamaican cookbook. Came home, got my head in it, and I started, experimenting. And that's how I came up with it, because we didn't have any jerk seasonings at the supermarket. You could just go buy. So I came up with my jam and jerk based on those flavors and to my liking. I'm sure it's not authentic to a Jamaican person. If they would probably try it. So I mean, it's pretty close for an American guy. but a lot of it just shows love for their cuisine and everything. And like, you're absolutely right. I mean, barbecue's been around since man discovered fire. We were in the caves cooking barbecue. We didn't have much, but that's what it was. And that's the way I look at it. It's not a specific way of doing it or specific food. It's an event to me where I'm cooking meat, or cooking some type of food over some fire outside and sharing it with people and talking about it. That's the act of barbecuing to me.
Yeah.
And a couple of quick questions. When's Malcom's shop going to ship to the UK? Since this is apparently a UK channel.
So the big thing with us is, what stops me from getting my stuff out to everybody in the world, shipping. Shipping's crazy, especially now after that's we've been in. It's a real challenge. And so we do have some distributors over there now, but what we're working on, which I don't know if it's the evil empire or not, but we've really started doing some stuff with Amazon, because it allows people to get our product off of Amazon, and they take up the brunt of the challenge.
They do the distribution, and and then you're set.
We are expanding. I know we have distributors in the UK, in Western Europe. We've got some. We're shipping to Vietnam now. We're shipping to Thailand. We're shipping to Australia. We're shipping to the Middle East. We're shipping to Brazil. You name it. There's a lot of the parts of the globe we're actually have some presence in.
Yeah, well, if you're in the UK, you can buy your products from Wow Barbecue UK, Alton's Barbecue World. You can buy them in as well. I've also seen Angus and Oink, which is a UK rub, but also they run their own website, so they sell your rubs as well with a lot of American lines. So yeah, it's fairly easy to obtain over here. People have got stock of it, and people are buying it in numbers. So it's as I said, it's a good product, So kudos to you, mate. You should be really proud of it, because it's brilliant.
It keeps the lights on. That's I really like making videos and good and sharing that with people, but that don't pay too many bills. I did learn that quick, and that's kind of was the byproduct of making the YouTube channel and everything. It was an avenue. We didn't have money to advertise. I had no marketing budget. It was me and my wife at home, and back in the Yellow Kitchen days, everything we were doing bootleg style. I would stir the rubs up on the kitchen table, and we would vacuum seal them, or I would buy empty bottles and put labels on them, and I would ship them. And I know that's not legal, but I don't recommend anybody doing that. But man, you got to. We were just trying to hustle just to try to make it, and it was, back then by trade I was in the architecture field, and we went through the last recession. I guess it was in 08, 09. I'd got laid off from a job, and that was, I was out of work, so I had to figure something out fast. Luckily, I knew how to barbecue a little bit. That's kind of what was the motivation. It was do or die.
I suppose that's the best way. You got to do it, really. If you're going to do it, jump in with both feet and commit. That's right.
Yeah, necessity is the mother of invention, someone said once.
That's very true.
So when you're down and you need to get going on, then that's going to make you push big time. And so you started YouTube when exactly?
11 years ago. This June, I guess we started, well, maybe it was May 10th. Last year was our 10-year anniversary, and that's when we hit 1 million subscribers. It took us 10 years to do it. Now, now you see people doing it in 4 months, but it took us a long time. We were kind of the slow crawlers. We learned, we didn't know anything about video or anything, but we built up a great fan base by just putting out constant content. We would try to release something at least bi-weekly, and that was what we tried to do. Or every 2 weeks. I probably said that wrong.
Right.
That was our strategy, and then we moved it to where we had enough time to where we could get better at editing and everything, and we could do one a week, and that's kind of been our goal for a while. And we noticed that if we stayed on this pattern of releasing content, creating something, sharing it, answering the comments, and it would just slowly, snowball. And that's what it did. It took it several years to get going. But once it did, people started sharing it and coming back to it. And that led to, doing the other social channels as well.
Yeah, you've totally embraced all of the other sort of social media, like your Instagram, obviously you've got your podcast, which is fantastic as well. Like I listen to that every Monday morning religiously at work. And it's like, oh yeah, Monday morning, it's not so bad. I've got Malcolm and his wife's on, and we're going to sort of listen and see what they've been up to all week, and find out about your chicken cooks and stuff like that you're going to do on Monday night. And so it's really good. It's a nice way of lightening people's day, because it's a really easy listen, and the audio is fantastic. It's brilliant. But circling back to what I said, I rambled a bit there. I'm sorry. So if you've been quick on the uptake with all of the social medias, and particularly TikTok, how do you find recording videos for TikTok versus recording videos for YouTube? Because to me, when I watch your content, there's certainly a lot more fun and tongue-in-cheek, I'd say.
Yeah. So I feel like I've kind of got a persona on YouTube of more of, it's just hanging out with me in my backyard, but it's more of a teaching persona. It's like I'm trying to go over a recipe that I've actually tested and worked, and I'm confident in it. And it's a little more serious, even though I'm myself on it. I think that resonates a bunch with anybody doing YouTube. You got to be yourself first. It's a little more serious, a little more than in TikTok. I always thought TikTok was a platform for kids doing dance moves. That's all I thought it was. And so we were lucky enough to find a new guy, I guess you call him a new guy here for How to BBQ Right, Mr. Tyler. Y'all probably talked to him a little bit. He sets up all of our equipment and everything, but he's our social media manager here, and he helps us out. And he was like, he brought the TikTok platform to light for us. He's like, man, just let me start a How to BBQ Right channel. And first, it was just taking clips of our other stuff and loading it on there. And we started noticing that people were getting into food on TikTok. It's not just kids dancing; it's all kinds of stuff. And so we started making some videos, and I said, well, if I'm going to do these TikTok videos, I'm going to have fun with it. This is going to be where I can do anything wild. Most of the stuff is just, I've never done it before. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but it's going to be more fun. And it's a way for me to, just show another side of who I am on that platform. And I think it's important to kind of keep them separated. TikTok's the fun one. It's the more youthful watcher on it. I don't think my average age on YouTube is probably 45 to 55, age bracket. Where on TikTok you get that 18 to 30. And so those guys want different, I guess they want different content. I don't know. But we have a lot of fun with it. I like the TikToks. You film them fast. They're all done with a cell phone. You don't have to do, it's not crazy camera work or microphones or I don't know how much editing goes into it. Tyler does all that, but you're limited on time. So they are chopped up. I don't feel like you can get the full recipe across on TikTok. If you've ever watched anybody's, it's not, more like you're just watching it for the visual aspect to see what it looked like at the end and see what the person does.
Yeah.
As far as learning,
unless you're doing like a very quick sauce or very quick rub or something like that, where it's like, hey, it's like a teaspoon of this, teaspoon of that, maybe a cup of this, cup of that, throwing stuff together. And those are good 30-second videos. And I think, strangely enough, I think TikTok is expanding out to go to 3-minute long videos now.
Yeah, it took I think the more followers you have on there, they would give you more time, and then they expanded, I think, to everybody now. But we've still noticed that the attention span is growing. It's growing shorter and shorter by the day on views. And that's changing the YouTube platform too. But it's hard to keep somebody's attention for longer than 60 seconds. And so why TikTok has so much success is, you can scroll right through it. You can watch, 60 seconds of something. You can skip to the end if you want to see it, and you're on to the next one. Yeah. And people that's how they're getting their content now.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is YouTube's coming down from the other side, so they're long videos, and now the shorts are popular.
Oh yeah.
So YouTube is trying to do the shorts, and TikTok's trying to get theirs longer. Eventually they'll meet in the middle, and people will have hopefully about a minute attention span.
That's right. So we started the shorts channel too, and it's grown. I think we're approaching 100,000 on YouTube Shorts, and so we're getting a lot. So it's kind of the same kind of content as TikTok. I mean, you're a little more limited on what you can do because of copyright violations. You can't use. I don't think you can use the music as much as you can. TikTok kind of wants you to. I guess it helps.
Right.
That helps you too, but YouTube's a little different. But we've noticed it's working because people are absorbing all that content pumped out. It's amazing that, and most of it's mobile. It's not sitting down at your computer watching it. Most of it's all mobile views.
Yeah, 100% true.
Yeah, so we've got a question in the chat. It's been sitting there for a little while. We've got a question from Grey Hall. What's your favourite pit, Malcolm?
My favorite. Let's see. That's a tough one there. It's like asking you who your favorite kid is. I have an answer for this. I've been giving it a long time. I've got a pit. I hadn't cooked on it in a while in the video, but I've got an Old Hickory CTO, and it's more of a commercial pit built for the backyard guy, but it'll hold. You can load it up with 36 pork butts, and so that's a lot of meat. So if anything ever happens to me, I crash everything I know. I can go get me some pork butts, cook them on that CTO, and make some money for my family. So I look at that as that's probably my favorite pit because I know it's a workhorse, and I can, it's a money maker. As far as cooking on them, I've really gotten into stick burners here lately. That I've and I think everybody makes that progression in their barbecue journey. You start out on one type of pit, but you ultimately get up to that one where you're having to build a fire, and then you're having to add logs to it, and you're having to control that fire, and then you're getting that authentic barbecue flavor flowing through that offset pit. They're really fun to run. You get some fantastic flavor. The texture on them is amazing, and it's a little more challenging. So that's kind of what I've been leaning to here lately. I love my pellet grills too, though, man. It's something to be about being able to go out there and punch it on, put the number in, and just go away and put something. Don't worry about it. That's my, set it and forget it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing. So, a lot of people start out they'll start out like I did, at 5 years old, 6 years old, whatever, Weber kettles, and you learn the whole fiber management thing. You go along, but I bought a pellet grill because I'm hey man, it's quick, convenient, and everything else. And then you get other people coming in from the other side who are like, I bought a pellet grill first thing, and now I need to figure out the other aspect. So it's like two roads into the same game.
It's funny you said that about the Weber kettle, though, because that's probably the first grill that I remember as a kid. I mean, other than one of the park picnic style grills, but I remember my dad having the old Weber kettle, and that's the grill that when people ask me that they're getting into barbecue, what grill should I buy first? I always say Weber kettle because it's affordable. You can get one for $150 US. And once you learn how, it's not just a grill for grilling burgers and steaks and hot dogs. You can set it up. You can manage your fire. You can set it up for two-zone cooking. You have to learn that grill. And once you put everything you learn into the management of a Weber kettle style grill, you're ready to go to any other type grill and be successful managing a fire and cooking some good food. So it's a great jumping off point without having to spend too much money.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, you can do you can do briskets and ribs, and you can do pork butts. You can do everything you want. And then if you want you really want to expand your vocabulary, you go to Weber Ranch Kettle.
Hey, I want one of those. That's one I don't have.
I've cooked on that at competition, and that was it. That was definitely. I mean, you can lay down on that grill and take a nap.
It's a monster. It's a beast. Yeah. One of these days I'll get me one. I did buy a big fire pit. Last weekend we were coming back from Georgia. We stopped off at the Buc-ee's truck, not a truck stop. It's like I don't know if you guys know what Buc-ee's is.
Yeah,
it's like the biggest convenience store in the world.
Yeah, big old gas station / everything under the world.
Yeah, they have these big monster fire pits outside, but it had a cooking grate. That's what sold me on it, the cooking grate. So it's about it may be a little bigger than a Weber kettle of the Rancher, but it, you can build the fire underneath, cook over wood, but the whole top on, you can cook the whole surface as a cooking grate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking that to deer camp tonight. When I get through this podcast, actually, I'm going to go load up my stuff and I'm going to go down there and I'm going to season it up with a bunch of burgers tonight.
Oh, nice. I've been looking at very similar stuff, to be honest, like the big fire pits and things like that. And the sort of like more Argentinian way of cooking meat, just hanging meat over an open fire just to get the smoke and the gentle heat coming off the back of it. I think it's a really cool idea, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's something I've been getting into more of too, is cooking. I'm making this cocktail we talked about.
Yeah. I'm just
I don't know how I am. But cooking, I love that, the aspect of simple seasonings and cooking the meat right over fire like that, Brazilian steakhouse type churrasco style of cooking. And I love chimichurri sauce, like a fresh chimichurri, and there's nothing better than cooking over some wood like that. And that's what got me to wanting one of those pits. I have one of the Santa Marias, you see them out west in California. It's a same principle. You can just move the grate and stuff, but that's, cooking a tri-tip. There's no better way than on one of those type grills, right over some good wood.
You're talking my language there, Malcolm. I tell you, I'm just, you know, when you talk to your wife about something and you got to there's sort of like there's a red light, a green light, and an amber stage. I'm sort of at the amber stage, stroke green stage at the minute. She's sort of like open to the idea, but hasn't said yes. So I'm just waiting for the yes and boom.
It's always, I don't know. I say it's always important. Sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah,
that's very true.
The grills, because my wife said I have a problem. She's got a thing now. If I bring another one home, I've got to get rid of one. She says I'm to the limit at the house. So they tend to go to deer camp, or they tend to go to friend's house or something like that, somewhere I can stash them, because it's just hard not to buy more grills.
But there's always something new and exciting out there to try, and so you've got a better idea than we do, really. We're sort of like, if you're into grilling, you're into grilling, and if there's a new grill you want to try, you got to give it a whirl.
Well, that's my excuse exactly. I'm like, look, I'm doing this for the people. I've got to get a steak on it. Somebody if it's a grill or not. If
it's for the channel and the views, like that's where the money comes in. If you switch up grills and you got to teach somebody how to use a different kind of grill,
if that's
then it's paid for.
An excuse to start a YouTube channel, I don't know what is for people.
Right. And so you mentioned tri-tip, and Greg's asking, what's your favorite meat to cook? I love tri-tip. And tri-tip picanha, fantastic. Cuts of meat to cook.
I agree with you on beef. Picanha is probably above tri-tip on but tri-tip's awesome. I love it. But when it comes to picanha, that fat cap on it, man.
Yeah, I do too.
My absolute favorite. I get this question a lot too, and it's always the same answer. My favorite thing to cook is whole hog. Just because of it's not me cooking it by myself. To me, the hog's an undertaking. You need some buddies. It's going to take you 20 plus hours. You're going to drink some beers while you do it. It's going to turn out fantastic, and you're going to get to feed a bunch of people. So that's the essence of good barbecue, man. It's friendships. It's the stories we tell. It's watching a thermometer, sitting there watching that dial telling stories, having a good beverage. Then when it gets done, you share the rewards with all of your friends, 150 of your closest friends on a big hog.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's nothing better than that. And I think every pit or every person that considers themselves a pit master should learn how to cook a whole hog. I mean, it's an undertaking to get the shoulders and the hams and the loin all perfectly cooked at the same time.
Yeah, 100% true. And then that kind of led into like one question I wanted to ask was like, when you do family gatherings, or say you're, I don't know, cooking like and barbecuing with some strangers, or like, friends or whatever else, are people asking you questions and tips, or are you just sitting back and saying like, like I'm hands off at this point. Like I don't want to like, and I mean, they could destroy stuff. And you just sit back and say like, I just enjoy hanging out, and that's all I love doing.
There's a lot of time. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I think what makes good barbecue, somebody else cooking it for you too. And so it always tastes better than mine, because I've, once I don't know what it is, and you guys have probably experienced that. Whenever you cook something, it's probably not the best. Or not that it's not good or not the best. It's just when somebody else does, you haven't been over, you haven't done all the stuff. It tastes better for some reason. I don't know what that is. But I do get a lot of questions, and we always end up talking barbecue when I'm over at somebody's house and there's a grill involved. And I'm quick to jump on there and do, jump in and help out too. I just think that's part of it. But most of the people that I know can cook good, so it's no bad stuff,
That's a pretty good advantage, really.
I don't hang out with guys that can't cook. It's a birthright.
and like for many of that, like anything you learn, like so everyone assumes you're like the barbecue master when you come to like people who don't cook as much and don't barbecue as much. But anything somebody who's like an amateur cook or something has taught you.
Man, I learn stuff all the time. I mean, it's not, I couldn't just pinpoint one specific thing, but that's part of what I still enjoy about comps, or what I enjoy hanging out with other people cooking, is that somebody's going to do something different. I don't care what it is. They're going to do something different that you hadn't thought of or that you never tried. And it could change, the way you cook stuff. So, I still take class. I teach barbecue classes, but I still take barbecue classes because I look at it that way. Always be a student. Don't ever think you're the master.
Yeah. Funny thing, like I don't know if you know the band Rush. And the drummer Neil Peart. It was a pretty good drummer, but he like a very good drummer. But he ended up taking drumming lessons like nonstop throughout his life.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, that's
kind of
I think that's a better way to be. Whenever you think you know it all, man, that's when you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I try not to have the ego. You know what I mean? Just guys in barbecue that do, but
when you're thinking of it all, like drop into a bookstore and look around, and like just look at all the books. Drop into a library and look around, look at all the books. You think you know it all? You're not even close, son.
That's true. I wouldn't mind circling back to your Malcom shop, actually, just to get back on track a little bit. So you opened your shop up last year, was it? So are you looking to make it of a barbecue sort of destination where people come down to visit your shop and do events and stuff like that? And with
that was more, well, yeah, I would say that was more what the ideal was. At first, it was just like we had some extra room up front that was like a foyer and had a little meeting room. And I said, why don't we just knock a wall down and sell some rubs and sauces in here to keep people local from having to ship stuff? Because we didn't really have, a lot of retailers right around in our hometown, But it turned into, And what I've seen is that people just want to come check it out, and it is a destination. So we're getting people that pop in on any given Monday, just that have drove from, halfway across the country, just stopping through on their way. They're not coming here specifically, but they're saying, hey, he's there while we're passing through. Let's stop and check it out. And that's what amazed me. So, and I love that aspect of it, because we've had some real successful events here at the shop, from our, from a grand opening to our wiener toss we did to some of the other stuff. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, and that's, to me, that's why I do what I do. Anytime we can just get together and hang out and have a good time, that's fun. That's fun times to me. It doesn't always have to be a competition. I love competition cooking, but I just like hanging out with people and cooking stuff and giving food away, and just the whole camaraderie of talking barbecue and all that.
Mm-hmm. Like that, you mentioned the Wiener Fest. I think that's got to be the best name I've ever heard for any sort of event. That was amazing. I thought, Malcolm's going to have a Wiener Fest.
I wasn't scared. Tyler came up with the idea to throw there was this trend on TikTok where they were throwing hot dogs at people, and you tried to catch it with your mouth. You couldn't use your hands. And so I said, I was the first one to try it. I said, why not? I know what I'm about.
Yeah. That's so cool, man. So with you mentioned a bit of food. Would you ever consider sort of opening any kind of restaurant or anything like that for food, or to sort of like, again, compact your brand and get it into?
So I've worked, I love being in the kitchen. I love all that camaraderie that it takes to make a successful restaurant work back of the house. I know nothing about the business of running a restaurant. I started out in fast food when I was old enough to get a job. Worked at some pizza places. Worked at like Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel. Had a half a shift at a steak at a Ryan steak. But I learned, and I love serving. I love cooking food for people. I love people trying food. I just don't know the business of it. And I've always said that if I could do it, this might be my end game retirement. If I don't need the money, I would love to have a place where I cooked barbecue on weekends and was able just to give it away, or help, maybe just at a very reasonable, not trying to make a profit off of it. It was something we did for fun because it was a cool place to come hang out. And we got to cook, we got to cook good barbecue, and people got to try it.
Go like that.
It's super successful, Probably.
You could kind of go like the Snows route, and like Snows is only open a couple days and for a very short time. And
I like that. I like that thought on it. You're not tied to it, because a restaurant, most successful restaurants, you're putting in 80.
You're 24/7.
Yeah, you're tied to it, and the margins are low. Food costs are high. You got to deal with employees, and it's way more fun making videos and selling products than it is. And it's still a challenge. Don't get me wrong, but dealing with those daily struggles, I know people that have been in the restaurant business a long time, and it's tough, man. It's real tough.
No,
way more failures than there are success stories.
Yeah. And to get into like so I want to like take it a different track. I don't know what track we're on, but so you did a hot ones take video, and I want to talk about that one because I love spicy. But man, I'll tell you, like, there's like a certain level. So like when you're doing the whole thing, like the 1 to 4 maybe has good taste, right? And then the 4 to, I can't remember what is 7 to 8. The taste is gone. It's just blazing hot. And I cracked up, dying laughing while you and Mark were tasting all those things. And man, that'll affect your brain. You're like your synapses. Yeah, it'll drop you out.
So I love watching this, the YouTube shows that he does, that they do. They're, sure enough, famous people on there. And so we just had that. I think Tyler and his buddies had bought the challenge of the previous season and tried it at home, and they were telling us, how bad it is. And so Mark did say, let's do it. We can do it on Out to Smoke. It'll be a great thing. And I was like, man, I don't do hot stuff. Mark had bought this little pyramid of hot sauces off Amazon, and he brought one of them in because we did like a local go to your regular grocery store and just see what they have, different hot sauces, and try them. We did those, and those were pretty good. There were some tasty ones in there, and none of them blow your head off. Well, these hot ones, they ought to be against the law. I mean, I don't even know why you would want to make something like that. I really don't. But like you said, the first few had some decent flavor. They were good sauces.
Yeah.
You got into the heat about midways, but the last 3, 7, 8, 9, I don't remember. It was the Bomb and Apollo and one other one. I don't even remember.
Yeah, the Apollo, like zero flavor, right?
It's
just like it's pure heat.
Yes. And in the, so we were trying to just knock them out. We weren't taking you didn't get 30 minutes between trying each one. So it was like, let's get it over with at that point. I mean, and I don't know if it was one was hotter than the other because you couldn't tell. It was so much heat on you and so hard, and it was hard to breathe, and sweat was coming out. And Mark took it I think his whole thing was he didn't want somebody to think he was weak. So he's sitting there just about to implode inside. You can see sweat coming out, and he's not reacting. Well, I was like, I can't help it. I was about to lose my mind. I didn't know. I thought the last one, I didn't think I was going to keep it down. And I ran to the restroom, and I probably stayed in there 30 minutes, and I went back to my chair in my office, and I sat there for another hour and a half, and it was just pain. And that wasn't the bad part. That wasn't the bad part. It was the next 2 days. I'm pretty sure I had dysentery. I don't know what those people died of on Oregon Trail, but it was something along the lines of what I had for real. My guts were inflamed all the way down. I mean, it was bad. It was bad, guys. I ain't gonna lie. I do not recommend anybody. Don't try it. I mean, I don't see how some people are just superhuman and can eat that stuff, but I can't do it.
I don't like it personally. I don't recommend it. I love spicy, but man, you get to a certain level, and I tried the Death Nut Challenge, and I've done like a Choco Loco and a bunch of other stuff. It affects your brain, your body, and to the point where you can't think straight. Like you feel like you need to go to the ER immediately. like that is not good.
Yeah. Oh no. You don't know what to do. It's like, that was me. I didn't know what to do. It was like, do I drink water?
I try to get after half an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. It's bad. It was bad. But I'm like you. I like spicy, and I enjoy spicy food, but I don't want it. I'm not into the torture. That's like self-torture.
Absolutely. Yeah. Why make things bad when they could taste so much better,
Yeah.
That's a true fact there. So you mentioned out of the smoke. You test a lot of products. How many of them end up in your shop, or is it the other way around? You get the stuff in your shop and you test them on the show. Is it
the way we've kind of done that first? We didn't really know which direction we were wanting to take it. We knew me and Mark. So Mark runs my wholesale. Him and his brother Jamie run my wholesale department. And so we've worked together for a little while, and we cook against each other in competitions. And he's been on my YouTube channel doing recipes. And he's got his own YouTube channel too, Swine Life Barbecue. And I knew that we wanted to do something kind of a collab channel, but something totally different than just cooking stuff all the time, just doing recipes. So that's how we kind of came up with Out the Smoke. We're not barbecuing. We're doing other stuff. And then the reviews just kind of worked into it. And some of those products, like Mark had already had the Bull Boss, which was the crawfish pot cooler that you hook up to the water hose and sprays it down. And then we'd already had some of the other products that we knew were good products, and we just wanted to kind of showcase them to people and give our review of them. Some of them, I might be at the store, like that Aldi grill when we did the little baby kettle, whatever it was. It was a cheap $69 grill. Tyler had saw it at Aldi, and I went to another Aldi and filmed picking it up, and I was like, we'll try this and see if it'll cook. And so we just, whatever idea comes up that we think's cool. We don't necessarily sell them. We don't necessarily, most of the time people don't give them to us. Some of the stuff people gave us, some of it we bought, but we just try to be honest with it and have fun. It's more of a fun channel where Mark picks on me and I kind of pick on him back, and then we do reviews and different stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's just buddies hanging out, really.
Yeah, it's great. I really enjoy watching that. It's fantastic. the flamethrower thing you had, that was amazing. I want to get one of them, but they don't do them over here yet. Oh, that's on my want list.
Oh, that one was real cool. That was one that was actually Mark's, and that's what I told Rochelle I wanted for Christmas. That's what I've got. I don't have one yet. I don't have one of those of my own.
You and me both, mate. If I could get my hands on one of them, there wouldn't be anything left in my garden.
Right? Santa's got to burn down the tree.
Oh, I can burn a wasp nest, dirt dog. I can burn all kinds of stuff with that.
Pro tip: do not burn up a pine tree and try to use that for smoking.
I can see where that. I've seen it. I've seen a Christmas tree go up. I know how that works.
Oh yeah, it's like a firework when they go, isn't it? Like, so we got another question in from the chat from Craig. He says, "Do you have a barbecue waffle?"
I've had some disasters. Most of them have been around cooking fish. I'm not, and more specifically like salmon. I'm not talking about white flesh fish. I'm pretty good at that. But salmon, trout, things like that, I don't know if it's just I struggle with it. I don't know what it is. I've cooked some that's really good. I think a lot of it's the quality of the fish. But yeah, it's that's been some of my awful fails, the biggest ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. What I actually meant was offal, as in like the interns of the, like I suppose the kidneys and the that sort of stuff.
That word threw me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was probably my accent. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm from Mississippi. You talking about like organs or
yeah, just that sort of stuff.
No, I can say I've honestly never cooked any. I did eat some chicken livers and chicken gizzards the other day for the first time. They weren't bad, but that's the first time I ever had them. I've all.
They're delicious.
Yeah, how they were. I waited 46 years to try chicken liver, chicken gizzard.
Oh man, chicken liver, chicken gizzards. I can go like the list goes on. Chicken hearts, like like heart from almost any animal is really good. Beef tongue, duck tongue, like you name it, man. That's some good stuff. You just need to learn how to cook them, and they're like, man, and like it's like a grill then braise. And is there anything you actually grill then braise?
One I love to do is like, I mean, if you think about it, when we cook briskets, that's a lot of times what we do, especially in comps. I put my grill on the smoker to get color on the outside of it, and then I put it and wrap it up. Either wrap it up in foil or put it in a pan, put some juice in there, cover it, let that moisture in there build up. It's basically braising it on the smoker. I just did. Michelle's finishing up editing it today. It was a barbecue chuck roast, and I did exactly that. I seasoned it like a brisket. Got it over in a pan with some beef au jus. I cooked it into where it was just falling apart tender, and then I made some sandwiches with it. And man, it's amazing. I love doing that. Instead, it's rare that I mean, if we fire up the oven, it's usually baking something. If it's cooking meat or something like that, I'm going to do it on outside, even if it's like an oven, technique like braising. You can do it on a grill or smoker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true. I mean, the funny thing is, like, chuck used to be the poor man's brisket, but man, I tell you, the price wise, like it is, it's wild. With
I think I gave $25 for a 3.5 pounder. I thought that was really high, but I mean, I wanted to do a video on it, so.
Yeah, true.
I'm glad deer season's open here in Mississippi. I've got to stock some freezers. This buying meat's good for the birds right now.
And like, do you fish at all?
Yeah, I do actually. I love to fish. We try to go offshore at least a couple times a year down on the coast, and then we go trout fishing over in Arkansas. Some of the best trout waters in the United States are over in Arkansas.
Yeah,
and then, of course, Mississippi's known for its catfish and crappie. So I love it.
True. Yeah, you ever think about doing like a catch and cook video?
I've never done that, but that's not a bad idea. I've done several fish recipes, fish or seafood recipes, but I've never think about catching something. Now, some of those fish that I cooked before, or the snapper videos in particular, snapper that I caught out in the Gulf, we brought back. And
Yeah, they're lovely fish. The red snapper is beautiful. I remember catching one of them on my honeymoon. Like when we had money before we had kids, we went to the Maldives, and I caught this snapper off a boat, off a reef, with a piece of line. And I pulled it in the boat. This thing was massive.
Yeah.
So what we done was we just got the staff there. They cut it all up and they made us a big barbecue on the beach. It fed about 6, 7, 8 people maybe, with like all the trimmings and stuff around. That was really my first sort of thing I've ever caught on. Well, had cooked for me. I didn't cook it myself personally, but it was sort of like, it was really cool. Super fresh.
Yeah, I mean, fresh seafood is really good. Like I cooked. I went down to. I've been to Hawaii a couple of times and got a bunch of fish down there, and man, I'll tell you, the fish in Hawaii are really good. You catch those up and grill them up. And then Mexico, same thing. Dorado, also known as mahi. Went out fishing, cooked that up, took it back, grilled it up. Oh, that's good stuff, man.
Mahi, if you ever get into them and you're on a boat, man, buckle up. They're fun to catch. They jump like crazy, and
you're correct.
Usually, if you catch one, you can catch that whole school. You just keep getting back in there on them, and man, I'm telling you, as far as eating, it doesn't get much better than mahi.
I couldn't agree more.
I've never even seen one. I don't know what they are. Obviously, they're fish.
I will say this: some of the best fish I ever had was Dover sole, fresh Dover sole. I don't know if you got. I mean, being over in the UK.
Oh yeah, we get that a lot. But mahi sounds more interesting. What does it look like?
I don't know, that Dover sole, man. I just remember I had a chef prepare that for me. We were cooking hogs up in South Dakota, and there was a chef at the ranch we were on. They had a fish flown in, fresh Dover sole, and they filleted it, cooked it, and then filleted it right there tableside and served it with like this brown butter lemon sauce. And man, it tastes like lobster. I mean, it was just better texture than lobster, just amazing fish. And I was like, man, where's this been all my life?
Delicious.
Over in the UK, would you ever consider? Would you ever have any plans of coming over to the UK at any points?
Yeah, man, I would love. That's I do love traveling. We tried to as much as we can. We didn't get. I mean, COVID put a big stop to everything we were doing travel wise. But I was supposed to be going. We'd actually set something up where we've been talking to some people about going over to Europe, and because KCBS got pretty big over there. I guess it still is, as far as I know. But we were going to go over and do some classes, and then we were going to go to Australia, and so there's plans to do some international traveling. I just don't know when it's going to fire back up.
Yeah, that's true enough. It's it's all a bit funny at the minute. I love that you've got like beer to hand. It's just like, boom.
With me monitoring everything, making sure it doesn't crash on us. We don't want to not on our end. So
we got we've got Craig Simmons who's asking, what's the best cheap, inexpensive cuts to cook?
Cuts to cook, man. Well, I would say chuck roast if you want to cook a brisket and get your practice in, but nothing's inexpensive now. What I find myself practicing with a lot if I'm working on something is chicken. I mean, chicken's always affordable. It's fast cooking, but pork loin is one that, pork loin's a neutral meat. It doesn't have much fat at all, so it's going to take up what you put in it. So if you're brining it, injecting it, seasoning it, glazing it, whatever you're doing, learn to cook good pork loin. You can get in a lot of practice. It doesn't take long to cook it, and it's finicky. If you overcook it, it's not worth eating. It's just like eating dry meat. So you work on your technique at the same time, and you can typically find a piece of pork loin pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
100% true. I think like in a lot of places, like pork butt's still reasonable price, and man, like you want to talk about forgiving meat, like I mean you can do whatever you want with that thing, and it's like if you're doing pulled pork, it still turns out good.
Oh yeah, I mean, I cook a ton of pulled pork. It's but pork prices got to where we were seeing like $3 a pound, which we're normally around, $1 on sale for 99 cents. And when they triple in price, that gets expensive. When you're talking about, paying $30-$40 for a pork butt, that's high.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, it depends on like region by region. So like I'm gonna take a look and see like, to be honest with you, take a look, see what's on sale, and like cook it up and look up recipes.
Yeah. I mean, right now beef's high, pork's high, chicken's real reasonable, but there's some lesser cuts that you can get and still, not break the bank.
Mm.
When in doubt, cook chicken quarters.
Yeah. Like for some reason, the weird thing is like chicken quarters are always like crazy cheap, right? Because people don't know how to slice them up.
That's right. Yeah.
It's crazy easy to like slice it. Like it's 2 pieces. You just take it and you just slice them up.
That's it. You
get like a 10-pound bag for like 79 cents a pound.
It's crazy how much I ate a ton of them in college. That was what we would throw in the smoker.
They're great. I mean, they're great. You get like hey, you like thigh? Great. Hey, you like drumstick? Knock yourself out.
So it's sort of it's touching back on your sort of like your younger, wilder barbecue days. Like I've heard you talk about all sorts of stuff on your podcast. I was wondering if you'd be able to tell us any sort of any stories that maybe went on or any sort of stuff like that.
Let me think of one. I've got tons of them. I know one we were at. It was we were in a contest over in Arkansas, and this was before I started cooking brisket. I was just cooking Memphis and May style contest, which is mainly pork. We cooked rib porks and we learned to cook hogs. But when we started dabbling with the KCBS, of course, you had to do brisket and chicken. So my mother's side of the family is from Arkansas and had a cousin over there who was hanging out with us and cooking. He said, "Man, I'm gonna be the brisket guy. I've got brisket down. I've got my granddad's recipe. Don't worry about brisket. I got it." So he shows up to the contest, and you're not supposed to, of course, in a KCBS contest, you can't season the meat or do anything to the meat beforehand. But he shows up to the contest, and he's got this brisket in a big plastic tub where he's had it marinating for all a week, with all this stuff in there. And we somehow pass it by inspection without getting caught. And so he's the brisket man. So he's going to cook this brisket, and he begins to, it's a long process. He says his brisket cooks 18 hours. He's going to slow cook it. So we build him a pit. We get our pit fired up and get it on for him, and he begins to start drinking, and we all have a good time. We're not too much worried about the contest because we don't know anything about cooking KCBS back then. And by the end of the night, he's going to be the night man too. So I don't know what happens. Excuse me. I don't know what happens, but we come back the next day and he's laid out on the barbecue trailer, like laid completely out. The smoker's off, no heat. The brisket is under his head, wrapped up in foil like it's a pillow. And so come to find out, his wife became his I guess his second ex-wife. I don't know. He came and they got into some kind of argument. She told him that he cared more about that brisket than her. She pulled the brisket off the pit and threw it at him. And so he just instead of
she threw the brisket.
Threw it at him off the pit.
Wow.
And he babied that brisket all night. I guess I don't know what he was doing. I was back at the hotel sleeping. So the kicker is we get there the next day. What are we going to do? We don't have no brisket to cook. So we fire the pit back up. We grab the brisket that was his pillow, put it back on the pit, and finish cooking it, bring it up to temperature, slice it up, turn it in, and we get 4th place brisket that day. With the brisket that had been thrown, it had been thrown at somebody, slept on the pillows. It had to be tender. It went through so much, but we've not been able to duplicate that brisket. I hadn't tried. It's not.
That sounds like a traumatized brisket recipe. That's amazing. That's pretty cool.
Could've
Yeah,
made
I
a
don't
good
know
video.
many.
Could have made a good video.
There's some
Yeah.
like so. I mean, barbecue competitions like people actually drink quite a lot. And I mean, you're talking about like a day, a couple of days, easy. And there's some things that happen.
That's what I tell people, that people don't believe me now because you don't see it as much. It used to. When we started a contest, you started loading in on a Wednesday often, and you went Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday, and left Sunday. So
Yep.
it was an event, and it wasn't about it really. I mean, yeah, we were cooking barbecue on Saturday to turn in, but it was more of who had the endurance to get plowed Thursday night, Friday night, get your meat on, and then still, continue the drink. You had the endurance of 3 days.
Oh, believe me. Yeah, believe me. I was helping a guy out. He like missed his turn in, and I was like, and I kept saying like, come on, you got like make it happen. But like he was out for the entire for like hours because people were feeding him like oh, here's a good question. Have you ever intentionally sabotaged somebody in a barbecue competition by keeping them up late and feeding them beers and everything else?
Yes, yes and no. And I will tell you myself. Sabotaged myself many a time. But no, not intentionally. I would never.
Yeah.
I mean, we all, of course, we're all there having a good time, and the night times when all the excitement happens. So,
Yeah.
but you can see why we're drawn to that sport. It's a lot of fun. It's not just
Wow.
it's not just about cooking barbecue. There's a lot more goes on at one of them.
I can imagine. No, you just told me that someone slept with a brisket and it come in fourth. I dread to think what happened to that poor bit of meat.
I honestly don't know. There was pictures of them at that contest with some horses feeding horses blackberry brandy out of a big bowl. I mean, this was an event. I missed a lot of that. I don't know what I was doing, but
Man,
that was a good contest.
we got an interesting question from Eric Larson. Ideas for smoking duck or goose breast. Is there a better way to get crispy skin other than perhaps smoking first, then cooling overnight and fat cap down, searing in a pan the next day?
The best luck I've had with duck or goose has been perforating that skin and then bringing it up, but you got to get it hot enough to render that fat, and you got to perforate the skin to get the fat to get out of it. So it does take either you got two options. You could hit it with the high heat first, like sear it first and get the fat rendered, and then move it over and finish the internal. Or you can do a reverse sear where you bring it up slow at first, and then you move it over and you sear that skin at the end. But the biggest thing with it is don't overcook it because it's not good past medium rare. I don't like duck or goose past medium rare. It goes to a livery-like flavor, and it's just real minerally, and it's not good. You got to watch overcooking it. There's a trick, trick to it. You got to watch those internal temperatures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. I will say, for duck and goose, and maybe even chicken as well. I saw one weird technique where people actually take a pneumatic or take an air compressor and pump in air compressor into the skin, blow it off from the meat, and then cook it that way.
I've seen that. I've seen them separated. I've seen people skin log game like that too.
Wow.
They'll take that pneumatic air, nozzle and stick it in there, and it just shoots all that air up through there and kind of separates the skin from the meat.
Yeah, exactly. It's wild. It seems to work. I haven't
tried it, but I've seen it.
Yeah, same here.
Well, I've not seen anything like that. Blowing a man with an air gun, like in a factory.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
And it blows up.
I suppose as good as anything. So what was I going to say? This has all gone off on a bit of a tangent, but it's quite interesting. I was
So
let's
many
talk about
things.
yeah. I was
It's not gone
while
on.
we're on it. Let's talk about your sort of hunting stuff and like that, because we don't really hunt anything in the UK. We might fish a little bit, but obviously you go out and you're shooting your deer and your all of that sort of stuff. And so, how do you treat that sort of? Obviously, you get it and you butcher it, but what's the closest it tastes like? Because I don't know. Like,
I guess it depends on the game, but I've cooked a bunch of different stuff. I'm gonna say whitetail deer. It's very similar to beef in some ways. It has, and a lot of it depends on what that animal's eating. If it's just foraging off acorns or wild grasses and weeds and stuff like that, it's probably gonna have a little wilder taste. But if you live in an agriculture area where they're eating crops, you've got corn, soybeans, different crops that the animals are eating on, they're going to taste more like what you would think a domestic animal might taste. And then some states, they allow you to actually supplemental feed. So they throw out corn and other, protein pellets and things like that. So it's, it has a unique taste, but I would say it's in the line of beef. It's, it's not going to taste exactly like your domestic beef, but it's close. It's red meat. It's dense. Has a lot of really good flavor. I love eating venison. Elk's probably my favorite. It's just got a rich flavor. Have a wild taste at all. It's just delicious. But where we live, we only have whitetail deer. I mean, so that's the primary game that we hunt. Besides small game, that's the big game animal here.
Yeah. I mean, you get the same thing like around. So there's like a highly prized pork, cured pork that's from Italy. Where the only thing they eat is acorns.
Iberica, I think.
Yes, sir. Exactly right. And then there's a Wagyu from like an island off of Japan, where there was an olive producing factory, maybe still, where they like use the olive remains and actually feed the cows the olive remains. And it's called olive Wagyu, which is supposed to be higher than, I don't know, who knows, A25, who knows,
whatever
I don't
number.
know anything about grades about Wagyu, but I just do Wagyu chicken and Wagyu hot dogs, Wagyu bologna.
Wagyu bologna. So
But yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell where an animal's come
from. Yeah, that does make a great deal of sense, really. So let's just sort of run back over your recent cooks. So the thing I saw, your pulled pork breakfast with the egg Benedict.
Yeah.
Where did you come up with that idea? That's fantastic. I'd love to have that for a breakfast.
Yeah, man. Pulled pork, it's not just for making barbecue sandwiches. It's excellent on biscuits. And that's what we, or English muffins or anything like that. So we make a lot of our own country style sausage, which is breakfast sausage, or what you might know as I don't know, is it bangers? Is that the kind of flavor?
That's it, bangers. Yeah.
It's that similar to that, but it browns up really nice. So I have a seasoning to make that kind of sausage, and we mix that with the brown sugar, and we put on the outside of the pork butt to kind of give it that flavor of a breakfast meat. And when you smoke it, it makes a beautiful bark on the outside. It's darker, it's not like a traditional mahogany look. It's a darker bark, but the flavors from the peppers and the sage and the different seasonings in the sausage mixed with that sugar and give it a really great flavor. And it goes great for breakfast, especially with like a poached egg and a hollandaise. I mean, it's, it seems like it's fancy. It's really not, though. It's super simple.
Oh, it looks super tasty though. Like I want to give that a whirl. That does look like a delicious breakfast to me. Like, if you're going to eat, everybody eats pork or bacon or sausage, so why not pulled pork with that? It's looks really, really great. And another video, like this is a TikTok one. Another one that caught my eye was your what was it? Your coffee latte. It was sort of like a whiskey Bailey's sort of coffee thing. And you just walk out to the counter and you're like,
Yeah, that was a really good one. It was like a bourbon cream. So if you think it was kind of like Bailey's Irish Cream, but it's a bourbon alcohol in it, and it mixed really well. I made a coffee drink with it. Man, that one's tasty. That one will get you in trouble because
Yeah, I bet it would.
at like midday, you got to drink it in the morning. And if you start off on something bourbon in the morning, man, you're asking for a good day.
Yeah,
It's pretty good at a barbecue contest. Saturday morning of a barbecue contest. That's where you would want to have that drink when you're kicking off. Things are fixing to get going. Take the edge off of last night. You probably, now that I look at it, I probably have a problem if I'm drinking that in the morning.
It's not a problem until everybody else has a problem with it. It's fine.
Yeah, you don't have a problem like that. You've admitted it. You have no problem. What time are you headed out this weekend?
Actually later, it was as quick as I get home. When we get off here, I've got to go home and pack my truck up, and we're going to go down, try to do a little bit of scouting, see if we can get our stand set up, and we'll go hit it before daylight in the morning.
Wow. Do you dress up in all the camo gear and stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, see, we're still bow season here in Mississippi, so we got to stay concealed. I do hunt from. I'm not a tree climber. I'm a little too big to climb up trees, so I hunt from ground blind. And the blind offers you some concealment, but I still, you want to blend in with your surroundings because we have to.
Hello.
But yes, so we got to be pretty cool to know where the deer are.
Hello. Whose internet's gone? Is it mine? Charlie?
Hello?
Malcolm?
We have lost Malcolm. He may be headed out for the weekend. I'm not sure. So,
no, we're just going to find all about hunting as well. Let's drop him down a minute, see if he can recover.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Testing. 1, 2.
Hello.
Hello, you got me? We're back in the room. Oh, Matt. Yeah, my co-host, the tech guy's ringing. He's like, what's going on? My phone's going nuts.
No, it's all good.
That's it. Back in the room. Yeah, so you were saying you go out, you're all cammed up, you're in your
ground blind. You gotta worry about what you smell like. You gotta worry about the wind. You gotta worry, you gotta be where the animals are. That's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's deer season, so yeah, that's what besides barbecuing, I love hunting and fishing. So this is my time of year. I get to take a little break here for the next 2 months, and we'll get after it.
Yeah, I agree. And like Ryan says, like there's no hunting in the UK, but my God, how many movies have you seen with like a whole bunch of like little beagles chasing down and like guys on horsebacks chasing down stuff and going on a hunting expedition?
That's it.
Of course, they hunt in the UK. They hunt all over the European continent.
They have the red stag, right?
Yeah, that's true. But you only generally hunt in the UK if you're like really, really posh. I mean, like money. Yeah. So if you can have a horse and you want to dress up and go out with your Range Rover and chase a fox around with a load of dogs, that's up to you. But that ain't hunting, is it? It's just
social.
It's just, yeah, it is. They're just going out and they're sort of having their breakfast and probably, I don't know what they do. I've never tried it, and I just wouldn't fit in. I don't think I'm quite a straightforward sort of dude,
Well, if you ever get over here, I'll have to take you deer hunting. I promise you'd love it.
Yeah. I'm not saying I wouldn't enjoy it. I'm just saying it's just it's a thing that really, if you've got a ton of money in the UK, like it's a really expensive thing to do in the UK. There, it's like thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds to go out for a day, and like you go out all dressed up really posh with like like the little hat and the jacket. You turn up at like 6 in the morning and they give you a little bit of
that
pork.
cannot be true. There
No,
have
it is. It
got to
totally
be-
is.
There have got to be like farmers and other like other, I don't know, peasants and peons who actually go out and like hunt and like rabbit, squirrel. You guys have like, I don't know, octopus growing on
I know
all
pellet
across the land. I have no idea.
Octopus. Huh?
Been there before. We have tons of elk in where I'm currently living in Colorado. We have tons of elk. So you're welcome to come up here, Malcolm.
Hey man, I mean, I've never been elk hunting, that's for sure.
We'll share some. I haven't tried your pickles. I'd love to give it a shot. What made you do? So you have like rubs, sauce, and pickles. Out of all things,
I love pickles. No, that's what it was.
There you go.
Those started out as like my grandma always made pickles.
them.
Mom made pickles, and I was like, well, let me, why not do some pickles go with barbecue? So I just decided to try it, and then we've came up with every little different recipe. On like our latest ones we did crawfish pickles. Was we boil crawfish in the spring, and we always put cut up dill pickles in our crawfish bowl, which is the liquid that cooks the crawfish, and they soak up all the. And so we only get to eat them like during the spring. Once it warms up, you don't eat crawfish anymore, so you don't get those pickles that cooked in the boil. So I said, well, I want to figure out a way to get the pickles at least all year round. So we use the same seasonings that we use to season our boiling pots for our seafood to pickle the crawfish. And they turned out really well. I'll have to send you some for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And then have you ever tried to are you big into like fermentation? Because I like fermenting hot sauces and doing like a sauerkraut and like a whole bunch of other like.
I've never done that. I've actually gave me one of these little. It's like a barrel that you're supposed to ferment hot sauce in. Looks like a little miniature whiskey barrel. But I haven't played with it. And I actually I remember my grandparents having these big crocks, which is the same things that fermenting crock, and that's what they would do their pickles and stuff in. Sauerkraut and stuff like that. I love sauerkraut, pickled kraut, or it's not really pickled, it's just but kimchi, that's another one. It's like the Korean version of our kraut. I love kimchi. It's awesome.
That's super spicy and stuff. What are your favorite, if you were to travel somewhere in the world to eat anywhere, just not a restaurant, just like normal food, and travel around, where would you go?
Man, that's a tough one because I love all kinds of cuisines. Mexican cuisine's probably. That's South American, Central American cuisine's awesome. I love all the different dishes, the way they cook the meat over the fire and all that. That's fantastic. And using tortilla shells and making, doing all the stuff in fresh salsas and fresh guacs and all that. That's got my name all over it. But I love Asian food too. So I would, I'd love to go. I've never, been exposed to like any real Japanese food or real Korean food, just from what I've got in a restaurant, I'm sure it's not as good as the real deal. But my brother him and his wife got back from Italy, and he said he was amazed. And he was showing me pictures of all this Italian food that he got to eat. And I was like, man, how did y'all know to go to these restaurants and where to go when you got there? And he's like, because they just went and did like a walkabout kind of in Italy. They just would train ride from town to town and stay a day or two and go eat. He's like, man, this is just regular restaurants we walked into. He's like, every single one of them's like this. It didn't matter where you were. It's just that kind of scale of food. It's like, for us, that would be chefed up to the tens, But over there, it's commonplace. Every time everybody takes that much pride in what they're serving and what they're putting out, and it was just amazing the stuff that they had in Italy. So I
Yeah.
want to go there now.
It's a total way of life over there, mate. My best friend, he's Sicilian, so he's always sort of going around and been involved with food and stuff like that. So yeah, it's sort of their food standard is probably, along with the French, the highest within Europe. I'd say it's all very sort of not very simple, in fact. But I can see we've well overshot. We're sort of hour and a half mark now. I'm well aware you've got to get away and do your deer camp and stuff like that. So I've just got a couple of quick little questions towards the end, then we're going to wrap it up if that's okay with you.
Sure. Yes, sir.
So just so you can get away and enjoy your weekend, because I totally appreciate you being on for all of this amount of time. You know, it's been fantastic. It's fascinating, in fact. So what are your top 3 favorite albums in a music sort of way?
Man, that's tough there. Let's see. Number 1, Allman Brothers Band, Eat a Peach. That's a classic.
Nice one.
I'm going to go probably Waylon Jennings, Greatest Hits. That's one I remember rocking in high school in my pickup truck, man. Waylon Jennings is awesome country. If y'all don't know him, I'm sure.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Waylon Jennings.
Yeah. That's how everyone got to know him. But man, that dude is good.
This one I've been getting into lately, and I didn't discover it till I was at least 40 years old. I mean, I've heard the music, but Fleetwood Mac's album Rumors.
Yeah,
it's an awesome, and I've always heard it's always up there, best album ever made.
It is good.
But I took it for granted because I didn't really listen to that style of music until I got older, and I appreciate all kinds of music. It's really tough because we'd have to do probably top 3 albums by genre or something like that. But those 3 come to my mind real fast, and it's different music. But all 3 of them are different, but they're all really great for what those guys did.
100%.
Well, that's pretty cool. So what we're going to do now? We've got a little thing called the Hot Fire Cues round.
Okay.
So what we do is we'll ask you a set of questions. You have we didn't send these questions. These are just sort of like I'll ask them. You answer with whatever comes into the first part off the top of your head. So
all right.
It's very much bang 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 bang. So we'll power through them. There's
Gotcha.
quite a few. All of these questions have been asked by former guests. So as we get towards the end, start to think, if you can, what you will ask the next guest. So you'll be the last question on the list. So this will be blah 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 blah. What do you like? Okay, so you ready to start the Hot Fire Cues round?
Sure, let's go.
Okay, so hot and fast or low and slow?
Low and slow.
Day or night?
Night.
Beer or spirit?
Spirit.
Lump or briquette?
Briquette.
Pork or beef?
Pork.
Ribs, wet or dry?
Man, wet, but it's really muddy style the way I like it. It's combo.
Okay. Shrimp or meat?
Or what was that? Meat?
Meat, yeah.
Oh, meat.
Hold on. Crawfish or meat?
Oh, still meat. I mean, crawfish is like.
Oh, come on.
I love them. I love shrimp, but I'm
Well,
not giving up my red meat.
Yeah, but you only have decent crawfish at a certain time of year.
That's right.
And, yeah, so you gotta punt.
So wrap it or let it ride?
Man, let's go let it ride. Yeah. I'm a low and slow guy and let it ride. I can wrap it if I have to get it done, but
all the time in the world. So, burgers or hot dog?
Burgers. That's easy.
Horse, yay or nay?
Nay. I've never tried. Yeah, nay. Right, not eating unless it's last minute. I done went through everything else.
Oh, it's good.
Brisket or short ribs?
Short ribs.
You know it, that's for sure. Favorite non-meat thing to grill?
Oh, I got one for you. Smoked mac and cheese.
Oh yeah.
Love
Guess
it.
what I'm cooking tomorrow? No, serious, I got it. Smoked or grilled?
Smoked.
Fat up or fat down?
Fat down.
So, wood or charcoal?
I'm going to go wood. If I only had one choice, I could make me some charcoal if I had me some wood.
That's a good way of thinking around it. So, the best way to light a stick burner?
A bed of charcoal. And then you get it going and lay the wood on there.
True.
A bit of a cheeky one. Oh no. So, sweet or savory?
Savory.
Mm-hmm.
I've had my share of sweet and I get tired of it.
Yep.
Uh-huh. So, X or G rated? Yeah.
I'm an X-Man.
Absolutely.
I can keep that business, though.
So, your favorite holiday?
Oh man, I'm going Thanksgiving. It's all about food, family, friends, cooking stuff, and you ain't got to worry about giving anybody presents or anything. You're just giving thanks for everything you've got.
Excellent. So, foil or butcher paper?
Agreed.
I'm gonna go full.
Scrape or, scrape or jacquard?
Scrape.
Biscuits and gravy or shrimp and grits?
Man, that's the hardest one you asked. I'm saying biscuits and gravy, but it's hurting to say that because I love me some shrimp and grits. It depends on who's cooking them.
So,
Bad
like
both.
both. There you go. That's fair enough. So, brine or no brine?
Brian. I like a Brian. You got time, always Brian.
Mm-hmm. So, what football stadium in the UK would you like to tailgate at?
Manchester United.
There you go. And that comes to the end of the Hot Fire Cues round. If you could give us a question for the good folks on the next show.
Yeah, football or soccer.
Okay. Football or soccer.
I like that
Perfect.
one. As an American who doesn't use those terms, I do appreciate that one.
Right. So that sort of brings the end of the formal interview, Malcolm.
Hold
Thank
on,
you.
one more question.
Oh,
I do want to ask, who would you like to see on this podcast, and like who do you think would be a great guest?
A great guest
And
to
if-
sit down and talk to.
And maybe you can reach out to them, or
Have you guys talked to Heath Riles? He's a buddy of mine doesn't live too far from me. That's an amazing pit master, and he's been on my channel before. I've had him on the podcast before. He's a great guy, wealth of knowledge, a great personality, and yeah, he helps out people too. So
okay. Yeah, we'll reach out to him and hopefully he'll come on and we'll have a talk.
connection, yeah. If you guys need somebody to make a connection on that, I can definitely do it.
Oh, thank you very much, Malcolm. That's very kind of you. Much appreciated.
And don't forget, you owe me some pickles.
Yes, I think y'all sent Tyler an email. I will make sure we reach out, and I'm going to get you some. I don't know if our UK guy did Tyler send that, or did you buy that stuff over there in the UK?
Oh, I brought it. I buy it all the time anyway, so it's
Okay.
it's not-
Well, I don't know if we have any pickles over there, but I'll see what we can do.
Yep,
We need
so-
to get some kind of care pack. I can't promise you when it's going to get there, man. Shipping overseas.
to be honest, Malcolm, I'm just happy to be talking to you. So
and do
It
you
was a
and
pleasure, guys. It really was. This has been a lot of fun.
it's been a lot of fun.
I like
Like, what are your upcoming plans?
Man, no joke. Come deer season, I pretty much turn it down. Shell has to twist my arm to get some recipes and videos out of me, but I'm going to the woods and we're going to hunt. We're going to duck hunt as soon as the ducks get here. It's been so warm, we don't have any ducks yet. But I'm from now to the end of January, man. It's my time of year. I'm gonna be outside. I'm gonna be cooking and doing some stuff. But it's all about I don't have any events planned, anything like that. It's all about this is the time of year I get to kind of check out a barbecue a little bit and enjoy the hunting season. So, but I'm gonna start having some hunting content coming out. That is something we're working on. I think we're gonna start a podcast.
Oh, wow.
Me and my buddies that we hunt with, and we're going to start doing some stuff on that side of things too. So
I'll tell you what.
I was lucky. I've been fortunate enough to be able to afford some of my own property, not too far from here in Mississippi. That's where we're going, and we're going to work on not only just harvesting wild game and cooking it, but it's going to be about land management and what people can a lot of people, it's not a big tract of land, but it's what you can do to improve if you've got a small tract or if you're new to hunting and stuff like that, or what you can do to improve your chances of, how to take care of the land, how to teach kids how to hunt, stuff like that. That's what we're going for. So.
Oh, wow. So is it kind of like a farm type of thing then when you say taking care of the land? Or?
It's more of woods and, open some grassland that we let grow up for cover crops, and then food plots that we till the soil and we plant seeds in the summer and we plant in the fall, and we try to make sure the deer have an abundance of food sources growing. We're not allowed to supplemental feed where we live, and so it's going to be about just providing, taking care of the land, taking care of the woods, and kind of a conservation side of things, along with taking out some of the population of the animals, because it's better for the herd of them if you control the numbers too. So there's a lot goes into land stewardship, but and it's going to be from somebody that's learning, because that's my whole thing too. It's not something that I've been doing a long time. It's something that I'm interested in learning more of, and I want to do the same thing I do with How to BBQ Right. It's not, I want to, it's not how to hunt right, but it's along those lines. If you think of it, it's going to be me sharing my journey along the way. We hadn't really came up with a name for it or anything. We're just kind of working on it.
That's very cool.
But yeah, it's good. I mean, a lot of the same guys that I know that are into barbecue love to hunt and fish. So it kind of crosses over, and we're just, it's something that I enjoy doing when I'm not barbecuing. So we'll try and see how it turns out. So
that's really nice. So it's sort of a bit of decompression time and relaxing time, as you say, doing something you enjoy, which is
do something you enjoy. It's not work. That's the way I look at it, guys. So,
True.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. It's been fantastic talking to you, and hopefully sometime in the future, I'd love to maybe reach out and reconnect and have a chat about what you've been up to over the last maybe 4 or 5 months' time. Would be great if you'd fancy it, or link up. Maybe you and Mark come on and talk about out the smoke and have a little bit more of a boisterous banter time. if you fancy it, amp it up a little bit. That would be great. But yeah, again, thank you so much for coming on. Best wishes to you and your family, and I hope everyone has a great time over the Christmas and everything like that, which is coming up just around the corner now. And thank you for coming on, mate.
Thank you. I truly enjoyed this, guys. It's fun. We get to sit down and just be ourselves and talk. So let's do it again.
And that's what it is. It's been a pleasure, Malcolm.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What a fantastic, what a good time that was.
He's a very good dude. Absolutely 100%. And you can see it like in his videos. You can see it whatever he does. He's a fantastic dude.
Definitely. 100%. He's got, well, he had my vote before the start, but he's even got it even more now. So what a very cool chap. So what I think we need to do is chuck a link in the chat. run some adverts so we can run a break and maybe go for a comfort break and then get back to it and have another little chat if you fancy it.
I will be back in a little bit.
Okie dokie. What I'm going to do is run that, and I'll see you on the other side, Charlie. Once I can find the thing, there we go. Ever the ever the professional.
I need to get an assistant so I can be like refer to my assistant.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
if you want to talk to me, refer to my assistant. His name is I don't know. Her. Could be her. Who knows?
Right, I'm going to go
Her name is
and
Mary.
answer the door. I need to answer the door. I'm going to go and run this, and I'll see you on the other side, dude.
All right, shall do.